Stugotz here. There's nothing small about your business, your passion, your hours, your reputation. It's all huge. Your partnerships, even bigger. With Dell Small Business Technology Advisors, you'll get the tech, advice, and one-on-one partnership to help your business grow. Because with reliable Dell PCs with Intel Core processors, you can focus on what matters most, getting business done. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL. Listen up, people. We have a big favor to ask, and we promise it won't take up too much of your time. You know, our show is supported by some fantastic sponsors, right? Well, we'd love to hear your feedback. Head to ESPNpodcaststudy.com and fill out a short, anonymous survey. That's it. We swear, again, that's ESPNpodcaststudy.com.
We can't talk enough today about two things. One, how I ruined yesterday's show. Two, Billy's campaign has swept the entire country. It is going coast to coast. Unfortunately, the way it goes coast to coast is one sign at a time, one ballpark at a time, with signs that are meant to be funny and probably aren't garnering anything in the way of votes or support. It's just people bringing signs to ballparks as part of a movement that I'm not sure anyone's a part of.
It's a grassroots movement, Dan. This is how these movements start, very slowly, and you start picking up momentum. And a year or two from now, this is going to be a big thing. Unfortunately, we only have a couple weeks left in voting, so I don't know that we're picking up steam fast enough. But you're not joking.
We are picking up steam.
You're not joking when you say this has spread the nation. We started in Baltimore with our signs. Then we moved to San Francisco. We had two signs in San Francisco. Last night, Detroit playing Cincinnati. In Cincinnati, there was a Tigers fan with the sign. San Diego, Petco Park, another sign. Now, they're not all helpful. Like, one of the signs was just Buzz Lightyear, and it said, to Infinity and Beyond.
Well, that's right. When I looked at that, I'm like, that's not helping anything. That's a guy who's got an arts and crafts frustration of some sort, and he doesn't know how to market, and so he just did Brinfinity and Beyond and didn't tell anyone where to vote or how to vote, so it's just a dude walking around with a sign no one understands.
But I like the enthusiasm. I like the direction we're headed in, and are you ready to talk about last night's game yet, or no? You want to talk about the movement a little more?
I'm not. Hold on.
Go to allstargame.com, by the way, if you want to vote, because we're not doing a great job of spreading the word either.
That sign made me want to just watch Toy Story. I didn't know who I was supposed to vote for. Like, I just saw
It's a great sign, though.
They all have his nicknames on it, but nobody knows his nicknames.
No, those aren't official nicknames either.
Look,
so.
We are a bleep show. Like, right. As our entire entity, all we do at every turn is a bleep show. So, as we figure out whether or not to vote for Lewis Brinson.
Not whether or not, definitely vote for him.
Well, no, because you got to give people a choice. And right now their choice is to not vote for Lewis Brinson. That seems overwhelming. The grand majority of people in the world are not voting for Lewis Brinson.
Yeah, something's up with that, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but something's up with that.
All right, well, let's get that out there because I want some numbers. I want to find out the last name. Who was the last name on the outfielders list? At number 15, I looked at it and was like, that's not an impressive name or vote total.
I'm on it.
Thank you. So let's see if we can find that.
I have a new phase, by the way, in case you were wondering what this is. I'm not sure if I'm ready to unleash it just yet. We're on the shirt phase and the cutting board phase. Cutting board, I saw someone making a lot of progress. They proved to me 200 votes so far. So they're in the lead right now to get that cutting board. But this is a thing, because we don't have an endless amount of shirts. So this is what I'm thinking. We seem to have an endless amount of books that publishers send us.
Right.
So I'm thinking I may start sending out some books that we have, maybe some autograph books. You know what? I'm going to take a step over here, Dan. I'm going to get you some titles of some books I may be sending to people if they make good enough signs.
Okay.
Your timing's a little off, Stugotz. You keep talking when everyone else is talking. Please stop doing that.
Okay.
Chris, this campaign, how do we get some numbers? How do we find out where we are? Because Guillermo's trying to get Lewis Brinson into the All-Star game. We've been peddling this for weeks now, over many shows. How do we find out? How do we make calls? What sources? What kind of reporting can we do to get the secret information of how many votes Lewis Brinson has? Because I fear that Guillermo would rather accuse Major League Baseball of vote tampering.
I've done no such thing. I've done no such thing.
I think he'd rather do that than find out really the number of votes that he's gotten Lewis Brinson. And we don't know how many votes we've gotten Lewis Brinson. We just know it's not in the top 15.
Yeah, they released the top 15. I have a pretty good feeling that he's around 16.
I'm telling you, he's a top 10 easy, I'm telling you. You want to know some of the names of these books we got here that I could send out to some people?
Yeah.
Some good books. Here's one. I'm Keith Hernandez, a memoir. Could be yours if you make the right sign. Here's another one.
Maybe a Mets.
Beyond Broadway Joe, the Super Bowl team that changed football. How about this? This is a good one. Jeter, Unfiltered. I'll sign this one for someone. Send this out.
Wow.
Yeah. Good book. It's going to cost you, though. That's going to be like 1,000 votes if you want that one. What else do we have here? The Comeback. Greg LeMond, the true king of American cycling and the legendary Tour de France. These are prizes you guys could have.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's impressive. We've been fighting over these books for years, and we couldn't figure out a way to, decide who's going to get them. So we have all these books have just piled up. Oh, the Sean Penn book. We have the Sean Penn book. If you want the Sean Penn book, allstargame.com.
Okay, but here's one of the many reasons I think your entire scheme is faulty.
Campaign, not scheme. This isn't a scheme. A scheme would, insinuate this. There's some sort of nefarious intent here. There's some sort of wrongdoing going on, and that's not what's going on here. This is a campaign to get someone to the All-Star game.
Yeah, but the flaw in it is you are now giving away books to people who are taking signs. Again, signs makes your movement something that celebrates you and you're clever and you can feel its reach, but it doesn't get votes. You should be giving the books to people who are actually voting. These signs can be clever. They're not resulting in votes.
That's a good point. So we're going to have to rethink this whole system right now. All right. So we're going back to T-shirts for signs. Now, new rule on the signs. It has to say to vote for him at allstargame.com. Because these signs, you know what? You snuck in. I'm going to send you a shirt for the Buzz Lightyear sign. But you need to be more instructive on what we're trying to do here. Because these signs that are silly and funny make me laugh. But Dan's right. They're not getting us votes right now.
How are we doing in general with shirts? The shirt you're wearing today is amazing. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
This shirt was actually sent to me by a listener, and it's pretty incredible. It's a giant picture of me beating Amin in the race, and the back of it says $2, and all you see of Amin is Amin's hand kind of sneaking in here.
But your face, that's the great picture of you where you look like Clark Kent turning into Superman.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be on my Christmas cards this year.
Do you realize how many of those shirts we could sell? Do you realize?
I don't. How many?
Well,
tell us.
We can't even get people to vote for free, so I don't know how many things we're going to get people to pay for.
People want to buy stuff affiliated with this show. They want to buy crud. Man, you saw it when Flembrant went out into the street and
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the guys holding the sign was wearing an Art Flembrant shirt, and that's not officially licensed. I don't know how they took that piece of art and just put it on a shirt.
That's a good question. I wish we could go to Mike on it, but Mike's hurting today. Mike's a little bit sick. He's under the weather. He doesn't have a lot that he can give the show today.
I sick the legal department on those people, but really, technically, there's no stopping them.
They've been selling Stugotz Army stuff forever.
Yeah, so what I do is I just plead with them. Hey, man, that's not cool. Don't do that. And they do it anyways. I really have no power.
Seems to be working.
You sound cooler when you're sick.
Yeah.
Bear Grylls, How to Stay Alive, the ultimate survival guide for any situation. Could be yours, people. Allstargame.com. Vote for him. You know what? I'm going to set a price for this one right now. First person to send me proof that they voted 100 times starting today gets the Bear Grylls Ultimate Survival Guide. So I need a timestamp today. First person, 100 votes.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's see if we can actually escalate this. This is a good idea right now. We can do this if you prove that you have voted 100 times. What a ridiculous thing this is. 100 sounds too lofty, but I do believe
No, you can do that in like 15 minutes. You can get 100. This is going to go fast. I'm telling you right now.
Bear Grylls,
this isn't going to make it till 10 o'clock.
No, but I want to up the ante. Signed by everyone on the show.
Sure. 200 votes, meet and greet with Dan.
And lunch.
And lunch on Dan.
Wait, what?
No?
Guys, you're opening up a can of worms.
All right, we'll go back.
You Brince in or you Brince out, Dan?
Yeah,
I mean,
Dan, you in on this?
Guys,
got to do what you got to do. I mean, I'm going to call Murray.
Guys, you can't just do this, okay? There's legal ramifications.
Free books.
Security. Like, we're not really authorized to be giving something away. You have to be announcing that you're just doing this personally, because then you start involving ESPN, and this is not an official ESPN giveaway.
All right, well, how do we do this? Because I learned yesterday that the official ESPN giveaway with Stugotz is up in the air because Stugotz might not make the official ESPN.
Stugotz is just being Stugotz.
What do you mean? I don't even know what you're talking about.
I heard that one of the promotions you were involved in, you were on shaky ground as to whether or not you were going to show up or not.
No, I'm showing up to the promotion. What are you talking about?
Just heard there was shaky ground.
There was no shaky ground. It was just me being me and doing everything at the last possible second. That's all.
It's funny that you describe it that way, because I asked Liam, hey, what's going on? And he described it as Stugotz being Stugotz.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's used to it by
I sound
now.
like David
it's
Caruso
great.
and
It's not even surprising to
It's
anyone
really
anymore.
great.
Yeah.
It really is great that great, like that morning show is a pioneer in the industry. And not only do they need Stugotz to help fill out the fun of a promotion, because Stugotz is the fun guy, but we have to also tolerate all of Stugotz's general malfeasance, because that's what you do in the name of the rap star or the rock star or the artist. You give them wide berth, they show up when they want to.
Would you like an excerpt? Here we go. Poo. Experienced trackers can identify animals by their poo. In a survival situation, we examine poo not to work out what we're hunting, but to work out how recently it passed. Fresh equals recent. 100 votes, telling you right now.
All right, Mike, I need to work this out. I don't know how we do it in your condition, but we need to work out how we do this where we're now bribing people with terrible gifts. Like, we need to make more of a mockery of this.
Terrible gift. How to Stay Alive. This is the most valuable book we have, I think, except From the Outside, My Journey Through Life and The Game I Love by Ray Allen.
Wow.
Could be yours soon, people.
That.
Could be yours.
I gotta hop on the phone now.
I mean, this is my wheelhouse. We're bribing people. I mean, hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, STUGOTZ, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
I think I understand is your transition to do whatever you want. Like, it's just to push me back. It's your jab. I understand is your jab. It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean a thing. Keeps you away for a second.
Yes, I understand, but it's not you actually understanding.
Oh, no, I don't understand a thing.
No, he absolutely doesn't.
Stugotz.
And it's not just that either. He switches to a southpaw, starts jabbing with the other one with that's funny and interesting, and by saying that's funny and interesting, it gathers me enough time to say something of substance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wait a minute. That's not true.
Well, the substance.
It was a good impersonation.
Everything else, you were dead on to the
It was
end.
a good impersonation of Stugotz. It gets me to the larger part of my arsenal, which is also useless.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
Stugotz, I don't even want to wait for the music. I'm so excited. We got so into what was going on with our campaign. We didn't even talk about last night's game. Did you see last night's game?
I did not, no. What
There's
happened?
been some must-watch baseball the last 2 days. Unfortunately, it's starting at 10 o'clock at night, so a lot of people are not watching it, even though it's must-watch. They're mustn't watching it. So this is what happened yesterday. So the day before, we went over what happened with Brinson and Strickland and, you know, all that jazz. So, you know what? Actually, I'm going to catch everyone up for those of you who aren't aware. This is what happened the night before. The Marlins were down by 2 in the ninth inning, right? Just a quick refresher. Marlins down 2 in the ninth inning. They come back. They have a 3-run rally in the ninth inning.
It's okay you're doing this. A lot of people are hearing this for the first time. What happened 2 games ago?
Yeah, so this is what happened 2 games ago. Because Must watch, but some of you haven't been watching. So this is what happened 2 days ago. Brinson, well, I'll take you back actually a couple days before that.
Take us back to the start of the season, Bill.
We don't need to go that far back.
Okay.
How did we get Brinson on the team?
We traded him for Yelich.
I thought we were just going to keep going back. All right, back where you were. Go ahead.
So far, it's working, by the way, I'd say. I think that was a win. We could all agree on that. So this is what's happening. The Marlins and... Yes?
Yelich is actually 15th in All-Star voting.
Yeah, but...
Is he having a good season,
Get me
though?
started on that. He whatever. I've heard he was a bit of a malcontent down here, so we don't need that in the locker room. We need Bryn Diesel. Anyways, the Marlins and the Giants have this little rivalry that's been going on that went back to the previous series, which was like last weekend. I don't know what kind of scheduling this was, where the Giants played the Marlins and then they went to Baltimore, and then all of a sudden they're in San Francisco playing the Giants again. So there's still kind of some bad feelings from the last series because we broke Evan Longoria's like wrist or something, and he's out for like 6 weeks. And they were coming in hot, and the Marlins just 3 out of 4 embarrassed them. So then we went to Baltimore, we took care of business there, and now we headed back to San Francisco.
You could be honest, this dates back all the way to Scott Cousins.
It goes back further than that, if I'm being totally honest, which is 2003 when we had eliminated them from the playoffs.
Yeah.
We own the Giants, all right? And yes, Mike is right. They do still have bad feelings when Scott Cousins knocked Buster Posey out, messed up his leg, and then we changed the rules for catchers, couldn't get hit anymore. Even though, I don't know why that was like a Zaz though, but all of a sudden, catchers can't get hit anymore, even though Buster Posey was the one standing in front of home plate. But we'll move on from that. We're not going to bring that up. We're going to move on from that. So, we had an issue the last series, and we beat the Giants, and Brinson was kind of upset them, and we broke someone's wrist, Evan Longoria, whatever. No big deal. Exactly. Move on. Get over it. We're in another series now.
What happened to Scott Cousins?
I don't know. I mean...
Where are they now?
I don't know. That picture...
Where are they now? I like that idea. Let's do a segment like that.
He wasn't at the Marlins like 25th anniversary thing, which is weird. You know who I wanted to be there? Was Hanley. Hanley's not on a team right now. Hanley should have been there. Hanley could have been hitting bombs, embarrassing Charlie Huff, but he wasn't. Anyways, let's get back to what we're talking about. So, we come back to San Francisco to play them again, and there's some not great feelings because of what happened in the last series. And we were losing by 2, and Hunter Strickland came in. Hunter Strickland, by the way, if you remember, a bit of a hothead. He's the one that waited a couple of years to hit Bryce Harper, I believe. So he has a history of these shenanigans.
Cousins is a scout in Scottsdale, Arizona now.
There you go.
Good to know.
We should get him on the show in the local hour one day.
Where are they now?
Yeah, we'll talk to him soon. Mm-hmm. So, this is what happened. We're winning by 2. Hunter Strickland comes in. He has to close out the game. Simple job. By the way, he's blown like 4 games this year or something, so he's not a very effective closer for the Giants, which I think is part of what's going on. He was all up in his feelings, and he was like, So he was not in the best place when this was going on. So he throws at Lewis Brinson, because I think Brinson did something that he viewed as showing him up the last series, and he didn't like that. So Brinson, pulled a Miguel Cabrera, and he just stood right up when he was thrown at, like Miguel Cabrera, if you guys remember, did to Roger Clemens in the World Series. What a moment.
Incredible moment.
What a moment.
Yeah.
Roger Clemens tried to intimidate the young 20-year-old rookie, threw right up and in, and what did he do? Boom. Oppo Boppo off Roger Clemens on what was supposed to be his last game, which he lied to everyone about, and I was at the game giving him a standing ovation like a dum-dum, because then he came back like 2 or 3 more times. Let's not talk about that right now, though. We're
He
not
waved
talking
to
about
everyone,
that.
too, right? He acknowledged that it
Both
was
teams
right.
were
He tipped
standing
his
on the
cap,
field.
right? He
Jack
did that.
McKeon, the
Yes.
Marlins were on the field. We're in the middle of the World Series, and the other team is giving you a standing ovation. Liar. And, by the way, cheater, steroids. But we're not talking about that, guys.
It's really
we're not
one of the
talking about
classiest moments in South Florida sports history.
that. We're not talking about that right now. We're trying to talk about the game last night.
Right.
So, before we get to last night, we need to finish going over what happened Monday. So what happened on Monday was, as I said, Hunter Strickland came in, 2-run lead. He was supposed to close out the game. 1, 2, 3. That's all you have to do. Get 3 outs. Don't give up 2 runs. That's
Right.
it.
Yep, simple.
Unable to do that. The Marlins went on a little tear. They started getting some runs, and they were down by 1 at the time. He threw at Lewis Brinson. Lewis Brinson got up. He, dusted himself off. I don't know that he actually did that because I was asleep. It was very late. These 10 o'clock games are too late for us to watch on the East Coast. It was almost at 1 in the morning. I'm not going to be watching that at 1 in the morning.
Stay focused!
Right.
We're not talking about that, though.
Okay.
So, what did he do?
What are we talking about?
We're talking about what happened last night, but we need to get there first.
Okay. All right.
Short story. We're long story short.
Okay.
Long story short, this is what happened. Lewis Brinson.
Short story long.
Yeah, gets an RBI hit, and then he starts, he throws the bat. He has a few words for Hunter Strickland when he gets to first base. Then he gets to third base. They take out Strickland because he's already. I don't even know why Strickland was still in the game, to be honest with you, because he had already blown the game. It was already 5-4. They're already losing. He gave up 3 runs. I don't know what the hell he was still doing on the mound. But for whatever reason, Bruce Bochy, manager of the year, however many times he won that, overrated. For whatever reason, he was still in there. They took him out of the thing. We'll talk about Bruce Bochy later. That's a tale for another day. So Hunter Strickland leaves the game. And while he's leaving the game, he has a few words for Bryn Diesel. Bryn Diesel, FOH, Hunter Strickland. And then, of course, Madison Bumgarner, the fun police, said, no. And he's screaming something. I don't know what he said. I couldn't hear because I was asleep again. Right. And he's screaming something. Madison Bumgarner, by the way, I don't understand. He's so good. Why can't he have more fun? We'll talk about that later. So, then, Lewis Brinson just kind of waves him off. And then, what do we find out before yesterday's game? What did Hunter Strickland do when he left the game yesterday that they lost? What did he do? Do you know what he did, Stugotz?
Nope.
I think you actually don't know what he did. You're not just being a good teammate here. You know what he did? He went and he punched a door and he broke his hand, and now he's out 6 to 8 weeks. So the Giants are not happy with the Marlins because they've already lost Longoria, who was hit by a pitch. Mm-hmm. They've lost this hothead Strickland because he's punching doors and breaking his wrist.
Right.
Posey, they lost him a couple years ago, but that's not what we're talking about now.
Right.
So, what do? Second inning, Bryn Diesel comes up, and Pudge's kid, by the way, how about a little loyalty, huh? We made your dad relevant, all right?
Right.
We gave him the ring.
We did that.
We did.
You were on the field celebrating our World Series. Pudge's son was on the field celebrating the World Series. How about a little loyalty?
I agree.
And gratitude towards the Marlins.
Right.
So what does he do? You know what? I'm not even going to go after him, because here's the deal. He was put in an impossible spot by that Bochy guy. He made him hit him. And what are you going to do as a rookie? You're going to say no to your manager? No, you have to do it. He gave in to peer pressure by his manager. His manager probably peer pressured him into doing it. So what does he do?
You think Bochy made him do it, or Bumgarner?
We don't have time for that. We're trying to quickly go through what happened yesterday.
Sorry.
So what happened? He throws and he hits Brinson. And Brinson takes it and he goes to first base. And then what does the umpire do? He gives a warning to every team. Warning. The umpire should have done that before the game, though, if he knew what was going to go on. The umpire should have managed the situation a little bit better. So what happens? They get a free shot at the Marlins. He hits Lewis Brinson, our best player. And now he's on base. Base is loaded. It was a dumb time to hit him, but whatever. We didn't capitalize on that situation. Don't get me started on that, because we could have gotten some runs there. It would have been a totally different game. We'll move on from that. So, next inning, Dan Straley comes up. Dan Straley. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this. When that happened, Donnie Baseball, who, by the way, I'm just going to say this, for today, he earned the name Donnie Baseball again. He's not Donnie T-Ball today, because he's been doing these things the past couple days that I love. Like last Friday, Jose Urena was pitching, and he sent Jose Urena back out there for the 8th inning when he had over 100 pitches. And what did Jose Urena do? He had a couple people get on base. Donnie Baseball left him in there and said, you know what? This kid's going to figure it out. And he did. And you know what? If we would have blown that lead, I still would have liked the move. I'm happy with Donnie Baseball, but we're not talking about Jose Urena right now. Wow. I was happy with Donnie Baseball the other day. I was happy with what he did yesterday. We haven't gotten to that yet. We're going to get there now. So, what did Donnie Baseball do? He went out there and he was arguing because he's PO'd. He's PO'd at what's going on because his team now has been warned because they hit their best player and he can't do anything about it. What's he going to do? He can't tell anyone to hit someone. They're going to get ejected immediately. So supposedly the San Francisco broadcast then overheard Donnie Baseball telling Buster Posey, "You're next." That's what they say they heard. Donnie Baseball said, "You're next." Right?
And guess who was next?
Spoiler alert. He was next. So next inning, Dan Straley comes out, gives up another bomb, by the way. So then it becomes 3-0. Left a couple batters come up to hit. All of a sudden, Buster Posey comes up. What does Straley do? Boom! Drills Buster Posey. He's gone. Donnie Baseball's gone. Bruce Bochy's out there, and he's yelling at Straley. By the way, I just want to see one time, like what Donnie Baseball did and what Bruce Bochy did. You know what I want to see? One time. I want to see them get out of the manager's way and see what the manager's going to do. Because we saw it with that, what's his face? The guy from the Yankees? What's the guy's name? Don Zimmer. We saw when Don Zimmer decided he was going to be a tough guy, how that ended up. We're not going to talk about Pedro pushing down an old man, because that was kind of, did Pedro push him? Did he just move out of the way and Don Zimmer tripped? That's a whole other ordeal.
Zimmer deserved that. There, I said it.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Save that. We'll get to that. So, what happens? Ejections left and right. And you know the thing that I don't like about it? Two things. Here's the thing. Buster Posey was kind of an innocent... You know what? Maybe he wasn't an innocent bystander, though, because he probably called for that pitch to be up and in at Brinson. So I'm not sure. But he was probably an innocent bystander. So I don't understand why they don't just hit the pitcher. This is the NL. The pitcher came up like 2 batters before. Why didn't they just hit the pitcher with that pitch? But whatever. He's a rookie. he was just doing what he's told. You know what? We're not gonna talk about that. We're just going to talk about what went on. This is the only thing about yesterday that I loved it, by the way, because I was there. The only part about it that I didn't love is that I wanted to go to sleep, and it was kind of late. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to go to sleep. I had already fallen asleep once, and then I woke up, and then I'm watching, and then they hit Brinson. I'm like, man, I can't go to sleep now. And I'm changing back and forth between FS Florida, and I'm going to MLB Network. I want to hear what everybody's saying about what's going on with this. Severino, Hollinsworth, what's his name? Harold Reynolds, everybody that was on this. What's the MLB Network guy? I don't remember. Greg Amsinger. I think that's the guy.
They were talking about it on MLB Network?
Yeah, live cut-ins all night, baby. Boom, boom, boom. And the guy, what's the guy? The Verducci was talking about it, too. And Verducci and Harold were saying, Giants got away with one. They got away with one, and it's not fair. Why is Derek Rodriguez, Pudge's son, why is he still in the game? He shouldn't be in that game. That doesn't make any sense. He's the one that started. Whatever. We'll talk. Stop getting me off track. So, this is the part of it that bothered me, was this. This is what happened that bothered me. After the game, everyone's pretending like they don't know what was going on. Everyone's saying it wasn't on purpose. No one thought it was on purpose. Bruce Bochy didn't think it was on purpose. The guy Derek didn't think it was on purpose. Oh, Don, get Don Mattingly sound. We have Don Mattingly sound of what happened. It's so great. This is a Don Mattingly sound. So they go to the. I don't want to spoil it. Spoiler alert. He doesn't know what was going on either. Nobody knew what was going on. Listen to Donnie Baseball. Listen to Donnie Baseball last night.
I'm sure Rodriguez didn't mean to hit Prince, and Straley didn't mean to hit Buster.
Do you really believe that?
Yeah.
Were you surprised there were warnings after?
I was surprised there was warnings, especially after, our guy gets hit.
Don, the San Francisco broadcast said that they had picked up that you said something to the effect that Posey would be next.
Nope. Didn't happen.
Donnie Baseball pretending that can you believe Donnie Baseball pretending he didn't know that it happened.
$2.
Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him, "Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash." His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how Geico could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So, it was all good.
Don Batard.
I have to get out of here. How do I do this without dropping names here? I have a dinner with Dan Marino.
Stugotz.
I guess there's no way to do it without dropping it in.
I have to go to dinner. Would have been fine.
This is the Don Batard show with the Stugotz on the ticket.
I think we've talked enough Marlins today.
I'm getting so many mentions in my Twitter of people sending, I think you're going to be overwhelmed by the amount of people voting 100 times.
That's problematic because I didn't think that it was going to happen. I said it was going to happen. I thought maybe it'd happen by one person, and now this may be an issue.
We have 9 books here.
We have a lot of books, but this may not be allowed what I started.
No, you've made my life pretty difficult right now. Not thinking this thing through. A little grassroots campaign can actually be described as totally irresponsible.
Can we just cancel it?
No, the train's moving now, man.
Figure it out.
Oh, boy.
The train's moving.
The good thing is we're getting votes, it seems. I mean, I'm expecting now...
Wait. It seems...
Yeah,
we're not getting votes.
No, we are. We're getting
literally not on the paper.
Well, that's a story for another day, but we have at least 400 votes that we've gotten just this morning.
You started this campaign way too late.
No, we started it too early is the problem. This is what happened. It started on a very slow news day, and a lot of the national media picked up on what we were doing, and then the story kind of took a life of its own where it was kind of misrepresenting. But yeah, so this is what happened. When a couple articles were written by Yahoo and Awful Announcing and whoever wrote the articles, when those articles came out, it was before the official votes totals came out the first time. So if shenanigans have taken place with the vote totals, which I'm not saying they are, but that's a good time to put an end to it. Because if we were somehow able to get him on the top 15 before our shenanigans were known nationally, then we could have, succeeded a little more. But I think that this was squashed before it even got off the ground.
What's the end game here, Spence? What's a victory?
Lewis Brinson. Lewis Brinson in the All-Star game.
Yes.
No, in the All-Star game. No, look,
if he gets in the top 15, are you satisfied?
That's a victory. Nope. Lewis Brinson in the All-Star game. Now, here's the next phase, which I haven't discussed. You know what? I'm already in over my head anyways with this. Let's just talk this out on air as we did with the book giveaway. This is what I'm thinking we do next. next week, I think we should have Dave Roberts on, who's the National League manager of the All-Star game, and we're going to talk to him about maybe just selecting Lewis Brinson to the All-Star team. Now, our goal is to vote him in, which we may not be able to do. Who knows, though? This book giveaway is really taking off. But if we can't succeed in that, I think we have Dave Roberts come on, and we can kind of talk him into it. Because, look, this is what I'm thinking also. The American League has a DH, right? The National League needs a DH. Now, you can't vote for a DH. So, theoretically, if he names him the DH, he's not taking someone's spot. It's an extra spot on the National League team that the American League team has. So the NL team has an extra spot anyways. Just name Lewis Brinson the DH. It'll be fine.
And MLB has jurisdiction over who shows up on the final vote, right? So we've already pivoted to Dave Roberts. Is there a write-in for the fan vote?
But we don't need a write-in. I mean, the final vote doesn't seem... Look, I don't think that Lewis Brinson, captain of the Marlins, is going to be on the final vote. I'm hoping he gets voted in, but that's starting to look less likely unless we really pick up Seaman.
He really is on a tear.
I believe in this fan base of our show, of the Marlins. I mean, look, yesterday what happened was a moment that brought the team together. They said, you know what? You hit our best player, we're going to hit your best player. And that's what happened yesterday.
Galvanized.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Portugal, Morocco's on my screen, and they keep showing the Moroccan manager.
The Moroccan manager and Cristiano Ronaldo in the same game. This is too much to bear. Have you noticed this thing Cristiano does before his free kicks?
What?
He lifts his shorts up.
Shorts?
Yeah, he lifts his shorts up, and he shows the world his quads.
I mean, they are great. Is there any better quads than his?
No. And they're so vascular. Although I will say Jamal Anderson, when he was playing for the Falcons, and Michael the Burner Turner, also when he was playing for the Falcons.
That's a good
Tree
nickname.
trunks.
If I want to step up my quad game, is it squats? What's the quad workout?
Yeah. Squats, quad presses. You know, when you sit in that chair. I think Billy's a big fan of that machine, actually, where you just push the stationary wall and you adjust the weight to it.
Which one's this?
I feel like you're
Which
all
one's
about
this?
leg day. Are you all about leg day?
Me?
Yeah.
No, look at my legs. I have little chicken legs. We're not on TV yet, but I just lifted up my legs so the cameras could see my legs. I'm not good at leg day, but I do leg day. The problem is that when I go to the gym, I do a lot of the machines. I don't kind of veer off into the muscle head area where the
You're intimidated, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm going to embarrass myself over there. I don't want to. I don't want any part of that.
No, I don't think it's about how it would come off you lifting these little dumbbells.
No, it's 100% that.
No, really? Because I think,
and I'm going to hurt myself.
I think you just don't want the social interaction of going up to these bodybuilders and saying, "Hey, can I work in with you?"
No, I never work out with anyone. And if you ask me to work out with me, I love you, but please don't do that.
Just take the machine. Just take the machine.
You know, that used to happen a lot when I work out with my cousins and my dad, at night at LA Fitness on 8th Street on 142nd. Shout out to that LA Fitness over there. What would happen was we'd go to the machines and there'd be 4 of us working out together. It'd be 7 o'clock at night. And my dad's a very polite man, and he just kind of if we, since there was a lot of us, we take a lot of time on the machine. He just kind of let the person take the machine. It's well, now what are we supposed to do? We just had a machine. You gave it away to someone.
Does your dad wear show merch while working out?
No. This was before the glory days. This is before I was on the show, even interning. This was a long time ago that we'd work out.
Serious gym people seem so judgmental. I say seem because they never actually say anything to me.
Oh, I thought it was because you've never actually been to a gym.
No, I've been to the gym, but I don't go often because I tend to go to parks and just be on my own because I just always feel like people are looking at me.
Oh, I feel
judging.
judged all the time at the gym.
You're one of those weirdos that works out at the park.
Oh, I go for jogs.
Yeah, but you get judged there just as
Don't
much.
these parks have these weird? It's not weights, but they're kind of
they're like adult playgrounds basically.
Yeah,
that are for working
I don't
out.
really use those. I do. Sometimes I use. There's a slanted one where it's kind of for sit-ups. I'll use that one.
Oh, you you hook your feet in and you do the sit-up. Have you been? There's a park right down the street, on 9th and Ocean, that's like one of those on steroids with all kinds of cool contraptions, and there's ropes and there's things that you slide. Spoiler alert. We filmed this thing. It never made air for the Ninja Warrior thing where Amin was there working out to get ready for Ninja Warrior. It never made air. It was so great. It was so great what was going on.
Didn't Roy
there.
turn his ankle?
Yep. That was another thing. That was when we went to before. Okay, so Ninja Warrior, you saw maybe a third of the actual footage. We also went out the Thursday before Ninja Warrior to an actual Ninja Warrior gym so that we'd have some idea of the obstacles. Now, none of us made it to the actual obstacles we trained for, but we did the warped wall, and we did the one where it's one of those metal squares you have to pull and push up, and we did rope swings and all kinds of cool stuff where we're just hanging by our wrists, and Roy, like, sprained his ankle when we were doing that.
Yeah, I missed my landing point while I was falling from the warped wall and turned my ankle.
Sneaky dangerous, by the way, the warped wall. Like,
Yeah,
you would think that you run up, and if you're not going to make it to the top, just run back down. Not the case. Don't do that, because you're going to, like, tear your ACL or your MCL or UCL. One of your CLs is going to get torn. Yep. So what I would do is I was doing that, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. This is scary. So what did I do? I got to the top. Boom.
I was going to say, didn't you do it? That was impressive. I saw that video.
I kind of got to the top, but the top was like at the roof of the like gym that we were working out at, so you couldn't pull yourself up. So I did like a pull up, and then I had to grab like this rope to go down. But yeah, I definitely like did like this weird roll a couple times because I only got up there once. And by the way, that wall was like a foot and a half shorter than the actual wall. So if we actually got to the warped wall on Ninja Warrior, it would have been a disaster, total disaster.
Don't you? You have to fight human nature, which is to run back down the wall after you reach out there. Yeah. You have to force yourself to just slide.
Yeah,
down.
they tell you to slide or to like roll, which is not like I rolled a couple times. But that was not safe either. Yeah, it's a dangerous obstacle. Ninja Warrior is dangerous.
Ninja Warrior is very dangerous. I was hurting. I was wearing leggings, thankfully, because my legs would have gotten all sliced up on those floating steps. I was really sore after just doing that one obstacle and failing to complete it. It was something that I felt for days after.
Man, look at those quads.
Man, he's gorgeous. Who are we talking about? The manager or Cristiano?
Ronaldo that time. Oh,
he didn't lift up his shorts this time. I'm not a fan of that.
During halftime, the Moroccan manager was mad. He looks even better when he's mad.
You know when he's mad, he does this thing where he leans against the bench. It seems a little unnecessary. Like he knows. Because he's always known that he's been a good-looking man, but he got all this additional attention because a lot of people just discovered him. And I feel like he's running up the score now.
These refs are in like really good shape, right?
The refs are in incredible shape.
Are they like retired soccer players? How does this work? Where do they get them from?
I'm sure they have soccer backgrounds.
For those of you just joining us, Mike's not sick. He's going for this new voice thing.
Yeah. It's David Caruso.
By the way, speaking of fitness,
lift your shorts up, Cristiano.
Something that's been going on off the air.
Put your keys on the table.
Is Mike's been talking a lot about this diet that he's on.
Back against the wall.
And he keeps calling himself Low Carb Mike.
Walk towards me.
And we were at like this somewhat important lunch yesterday.
Now walk away.
And at the important lunch, for whatever reason, Mike continued to refer to himself in front of like our boss's boss as Low Carb Mike.
Turn your head.
And he was talking about what he could and couldn't eat.
Lower your chin.
And Stugotz thought he was calling himself Go-Kart Mike.
Say my name.
That's a diet I could sign up for.
And I think the reason, and Stugotz, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you thought Mike was losing weight to fit in a go-kart.
That is correct, yes.
So did you think that this is like a new thing that he's doing? By the way, we'll get back to that in a second, but I went and I rode go-karts on Sunday for Father's Day, one of the things that I did. Yeah. Man, when you're doing it, it seems so cool, and you're like, oh my God, I'm moving so fast. And then when you're watching from like 10 feet back, you're like, wow, those things are barely moving. They're moving so slow. But I was like, anyways, go-karts are fun, so I could see why someone would want to lose weight to go on a go-kart.
When I hear someone say go-kart diet, I think of someone that's trying to, like, riding go-karts so much that they're sweating and losing weight, so that's their way of losing weight.
Right, it's like a fighter, like shedding weight to make weight so he can fit inside the go-kart. I'm telling you, something's happening with my hearing. Like, my wife and kids, they have conversations, and I just blurt out, what'd you say? And they're not talking to me. I'm turning into Greg Cody.
But for me to, according to your ears, reference myself as Go-Kart Mike, I would imagine that leads to a follow-up question before you just automatically start calling me that. You know, I guess he's Go-Kart Mike now. I have no questions about this.
Well, you're calling yourself Go-Kart Mike, so it's kind of like, I guess myself, he's Go-Kart Mike now.
We live in a post-Low Carb Mike world right now. And I feel like this diet is slowly killing me because when you change your diet so drastically, I guess it messes with your immune system. And I may lose an additional 15 pounds just because of the fever that's coming on.
You sound great.
Yeah.
On top of that, you know what else happened yesterday? Stugotz discovered Mexican Coke. So we were at a Mexican restaurant.
This was jarring, man.
And the Coke tasted different, and it's because it was bottled in Mexico. It was a Mexican restaurant. They wanted it to be authentic. They had Mexican Coke. Stugotz did not like the Mexican Coke.
I thought it tasted hard. Now, I wanted to say something because I thought I got a bad bottle of Coke. I did. Now, we've eaten at that establishment many, many times. I've never had a Coke from there. Yesterday was the first time I think I've ever had a Coke from that particular restaurant. It was dreadful. And I wanted to send it back. Now, Billy told me it's a Mexican Coke. I had no idea they're making Coke differently in Mexico than they do in the United States. The United States is making Coke right. Mexico, not so much.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that you knew that it was bad, and you thought maybe something was a little bit off until I mentioned to you, Stugotz, what's cool about this place, that's actually Mexican, which, by the way, is why I didn't order it. But I was like, it's Mexican Coke, and he's like, ugh, it's terrible. And then he put it across the table where there was no one sitting. Like, he didn't even want it to be within, 3 feet of him.
So the difference, for those in our audience that don't know, between Mexican Coke and American Coke, I do sound pretty cool, actually.
You do?
Yeah.
One's made in Mexico?
No. Mexican Coke uses real cane sugar.
Wow.
Instead of Coke in the U.S., which uses high fructose corn syrup. So you have the artificial sugar in your American nonsense.
Right.
And the Mexican Coke, well, that's purest Coke.
Will cane sugar? I mean, the United States is doing it better, right? What?
But you're not a bottle Coke guy anyways, right? You like fountain Coke?
I like fountain Coke, but I'm not getting, I went to Mexico recently, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I was there for the Grateful Dead, and I did have a Coke, because Coke has really become my coffee, right? Because I'm not a big coffee drinker anymore. Roy, I used to have, 15 espressos a day?
That's right.
That doesn't seem healthy.
It wasn't healthy. I'm not healthy, and I'm paying the price for it. But I got a fountain Coke in Mexico, and now that I'm thinking about it, I should have known, Billy, because I remember thinking that entire time I was there watching those Dead shows, the Coke was awful. The drink.
I was thinking that it's the water. They were using Mexican water, and that's why it was, because Mexican water can make you sick. Do you?
I didn't drink the water
in Mexico.
No.
That's a good move.
I didn't. They told me not to drink it. I didn't drink the water. I drank Azteca.
Did you have the Coke with ice?
No.
Okay, because I was about to trick you.
I have a question for Go-Kart Mike, who's into fitness. Yeah. Explain this to me, because I'm trying not to drink.
Away.
I'm trying not to drink as much Coke, right? But when you stop drinking Coke, you can get headaches because your body's used to the caffeine. So I'm trying not to drink as much soda, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to drink coffee, and I'm trying to figure out which is worse for me. Because if I'm just replacing Coke with coffee, and they're equally bad, why am I even doing this?
Don't drink either.
Coke's worse.
Well, no, I need something. I need caffeine. Can I get caffeine? Where else can I get caffeine? I need caffeine. Guys, I need caffeine.
Maybe a 5-hour energy or something like that?
Look, I'm shaking right now. My head hurts when I don't have caffeine. I need caffeine. What can I drink? What? This isn't funny, Dan. I need caffeine. Look at me. I'm itching up. I'm scratching. I have welts.
But you're whimpering. Caffeine. Like you sound like a wounded coyote.
Yeah, where do I get caffeine from?
Did you know this thing about Mexican Coke?
I did not.
You didn't know? Oh, it tastes completely different. It's a totally different product. A worse product.
They use actual real
Will gain sugar, man.
Stu, you got to go Landon Donovan there and support Mexican Coke.
All right. Hey, it's terrible. And he's a traitor. Is he coming on, Landon Donovan? What's going on with that? Is he going to join us this week, or he's only doing Mexican sports radio shows? What's going on?
What an amazing slash job you just did to all things national.
He's on Deportes?
Billy, you can have hot chocolate as a source of caffeine.
Hot chocolate has caffeine?
Yeah,
what do I put? Do I put water? Do I put milk? What do we do here?
Breakfast cereal has caffeine.
Can I put wait, whoa. What cereal? Yeah. Whoa, talk to me slowly here.
The pictures here are Honey Nut Cheerios, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, regular Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerios is the one that's good for your heart too, right? That it has the thing on the box that has a little red heart, and it's oh, this is great for preventing heart attack. By the way, does that actually prevent heart attacks? Because I bought a lot of Honey Nut Cheerios thinking this is going to stop me from a heart attack, but I feel like a heart attack is inevitable. I mean, listen to me. I'm out of control. I'm going to have a heart attack. I don't think that anything I do is going to stop it from happening.
Have you seen all these studies about red wine? And
no.
How good it is for your heart?
Does it have caffeine?
I drink wine, and I just tell everybody, I'm basically exercising right now, considering all the pro-wine propaganda there is out there. It's so good for you.
Right. I'm thinking of drinking wine through a straw if I drink wine, because it can stain your teeth, and I don't want to have red teeth. But if I drink wine through a straw, I'm going to be a weirdo. And then, do I drink cold wine or do I drink hot wine? Because yesterday Mike said I can't drink anything cold. And then Izzy was talking to me for 40 minutes about how bad it is to drink cold drinks.
Lorenzo cane sugar. What?